Welcome to the special edition of Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez.
A 10-year-old founder of a company. Meet Carter, ladies and gentlemen.
During this special edition, we are going on a journey to where 11-year-old Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf went from the PGA show all the way to where he is today. Now, there is no way to cover it all because he has just had so many accomplishments in such a short time. But we're not only going to look at why he created it, but how. This special edition is going to lead up to the Unmasked Gala for the Healing Arts Institute of South Florida. The nonprofit was created in Carter's honor because it was mental health services and golf that gave him the confidence to start his line of golf apparel. Now, the PGA show is where golfers go for the latest in anything and everything golf, and Carter Bonus was right in the middle of it.
A 10-year-old founder of a company. Meet Carter, ladies and gentlemen.
Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf becoming a media magnet after displaying his line of golf apparel at the PGA show in Orlando at just 10 years old.
Carter is actually, let's see, to my right in the red. So that's Carter. That was his line, 10 years old. And he created that. That's incredible.
Among those snagging interviews, PGA Magazine, Golf Digest, and Golf Life TV.
More people like you in this world. So Carter, thank you for joining us.
A week later, local news stations were covering his charity golf tournament to bring awareness to his line and the nonprofit Healing Arts Institute of South Florida, which offers no-cost mental health services primarily to youth 22 and under. Those interviews airing on NBC 2 nights in a row and on a spotlight segment on Channel 7 News in Miami.
A 10-year-old from South Florida embracing his autism to help drive his own golf clothing line.
You can do anything. You just have to put your mind to it.
On tonight's 7
By this time, word was getting out, and legendary golfer Ernie Els reached out to Carter, inviting him to work out with him and walk the course alongside him while he played in the Chubb Classic in Naples, Florida.
See Ernie Els walking the fairway at the 12th. He's joined by Carter Bonus.
Ernie's son has autism, and so does Carter. That set off a whirlwind of interviews and unprecedented access to the pros. Naples News ran an article on Carter with over 20 photos. ESPN West Palm Beach and NBC's WPTV caught up with him at the Honda Classic, introducing his Spectrum vitamin water. At the Nicholas Children's Hospital tent, Carter was doing a little promoting himself.
I'm playing in a tournament at Jefferson Beach and wearing a yellow hat, play yellow to support Nicholas Children's Hospital.
But it's not only media that are drawing towards Carter and his mom, but people touched by their story, flooding social media with comments of hope, support, and enthusiasm. Children are beginning to see him as a role model as well as adults, snagging a speaking engagement with the prestigious Women's Executive Club in Fort Lauderdale. These opportunities now making way for his nonprofit, called Carter Spectrum Golf Cares Core, allowing him to speak at schools and organizations. As you might expect, there's more to come. For more information on upcoming tournaments, events, or how to book Carter, go to carterspectrumgolf.com, or to learn more about the Healing Arts Institute of South Florida, go to healingartssfl.org. So joining me now is Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf and his mom, Dr. Thelma Tenney of the Healing Arts Institute of South Florida. And really, I should really call this not only Carter's journey, but Carter and Dr. Tenney's journey, because the two of you have just been on a roller coaster since the PGA show. Carter, can you talk about how exciting it was for you when you first did that interview live on the Golf Channel?
Well, when I first did that interview on the Golf Channel, it felt really amazing.
Yeah, this picture here is I was at home because you were in wherever, Naples, wherever you were in Naples during the Tough Classic. And I was like, there's Carter. I was so excited because this was a tease leading up to your interview. And I was like, I took this picture and I was beside myself. How did you feel about seeing yourself on TV on the Golf Channel?
Well, I felt really, really, really amazing.
To me about what were some of the questions they were asking you?
Like, how did you start your business? Why did you choose golf apparel?
And what'd you tell them?
And I told them that I started my business because I thought nobody would hire me in the future because I'm different. And I chose golf apparel because me and my mom spent lots of money on clothes that were supposed to be comfortable but weren't comfortable for me. And I decided to start my own apparel.
Boy, I tell you, Carter, your story, really just resonates with so many people, not just because of your wonderful golf apparel, right? But the story behind it. And I think, what do you think, Carter, what do you think people are interested in when they see your golf apparel, when they hear your story?
I honestly, for real, honestly, I don't know what they think. I'm just really happy that they chose me because there's lots of other people that sell golf apparel. So for one, I'm really happy that they chose me.
I can understand because for me, I want people when they see that logo that you created so beautifully, I know that you created it, the S and the G, you know, um, for Spectrum Golf, but when they see that, I think they're going to think way more than about golf. Um, can you tell people how you created that logo?
Well, how I created that logo is that I was at home with my mom and dad, and we were trying to design a logo, and we decided SG, but I wrote the G backwards because I'm dyslexic, and my mom said to fix it, but my dad said not to because it looked good, and it did.
It did. And it does. And not only that, but you chose the most, I have to, move my name tag, but I've got my Spectrum Golf apparel on as well. We're kind of matching today. You can see it better there. But I have to tell you, it is the softest material, and the pants, the stretchiest. I don't even know what you put in it. Did you put some love in it? Uh, all this visibility has given you an opportunity to meet some very special people. Can you talk about meeting Ernie Els?
Well, Ernie Els is very tall, and also he is very, very nice. I think he's one of the nicest people I ever met.
That is so nice. Now, his son has autism and you have autism. Can you tell people, like, what is autism?
Well, autism is a disorder that makes you think differently, and there's different levels of it. Like some people with autism have trouble saying things, while me, I, in school, nobody knew I had it besides the teachers. So I was, so
How did they know you had it? What did you do differently?
well, I spoke kind of differently. I thought differently, and my eyes were always kind of wandering away from the person I was speaking to. I kind of never made direct eye contact. It's
Well,
really
I tell you, I think the coverage and all the interviews that you've received, and of course, the mental health services that you've received, they have really helped you immensely because, people can connect with you all the time. I love to hear your conversations. I wish I could just have a camera rolling on you the whole time because the things you're right, Carter, you don't think you don't think the same because you see life very differently. And I say that in a positive way. I love to hear the way you see life. And it is such a blessing to me to be around you. You've been bullied severely and things like that, but you have managed to use the bad things in your life for good. What would you tell other people about just that experience?
well, not to listen to the bullies and just when they're bullying you, just walk away and tell a teacher or a trusted adult.
I agree. Dr. Thelma, it is just amazing. And I know your influence is on him and your whole family and your team and his own therapist. And this special is leading up to the Unmasked Gala because Healing Arts Institute of South Florida offers no cost mental health services. And for Carter, who did not speak until he was 4 because of autism. To not only can he speak, but he's speaking in front of people, to audiences. You know, that's amazing. And so we want you to understand the importance of not just um, if you have autism, but for our daily life needs for the entire family. And Healing Arts offers no cost mental health services primarily to youth 22 and under and their families. No one in the state of Florida should be in need because they service the entire state, not just South Florida, and even some other states where the therapists are licensed. So, Dr. Tenney, tell us anything more that we should know that when we come to this Unmasked Gala, what can we expect? What are people actually helping with?
The gala is our biggest fundraiser for the year. So we have grants that allow us to provide free services in Broward County, where we're located. So Broward County is covered for the most part. And then we have individuals in Broward County who may not qualify for Broward County funding. So the monies that we get from our fundraisers go towards helping individuals with their copays who can't pay, those who can't afford, those who may not live in Broward County, but are very close to us in South Florida and all throughout Florida. And we just ask for support. We have great therapists. Our therapists, most of them, well, all of them have a caseload and they take on as much as 1 to 5 clients for free, just to be able to provide the services that the families need. So we're hoping that everyone will come out and get to meet our staff at
Yeah.
the gala and meet Carter. I know that in the past, I would get dressed up. Me and Carter's dad would get dressed up to go out. And Carter says, you know what? Why don't I get to go? So Carter makes me stop and think a lot. So we make sure that everything that Healing Arts does is inclusive of our children. So we have a gala for the children. So we can enjoy ourselves and have a little break, but the children are with us, so they get to come with us and dress up. but they're in their own ballroom with their own therapist, with their own events. Again, our children want to come with us, but then when they get there, they're bored because, right? Of course, it's an adult event. So we made sure that we have a separate ballroom for the children so they can be there, be entertained, and then we have dancing where they come back and they dance with us on the dance floor. So it's just an amazing event. And I'll share one thing with you. We have a lot of our individuals who have infants.
Mm.
And Healing Arts is ages 3 and up. So we got lots of inquiries about, well, I want to bring my 10-month-old and I want to bring, and we were thinking, how is that going to work? Well, this year we're going to find out how it's going to work, because there will be moms in their ball gowns with their infants in their tuxedos, and it's going to be amazing. They can navigate between the 2 rooms, and we just want it to be, again, a night of healing. And when the board met, we were like, yes, there's no way we can turn away someone who wants to come and wants their child, no matter how young it is, to be able to participate and say that they were a part of what we're doing. So we are just ecstatic to have the community reach out to us and be able to be there to support us. And we continue to look for sponsors for the event, and we still have tickets available. So we just need and want that support. So
Yeah, and actually, even if you can't go, I don't know why I'm needing to clear my throat, but even if you can't go, sponsor someone. We'll fill the seat. you know, I passed it on to you, even through that.
yes,
But
and we've actually had some individuals do that live out of the state or even out of the country, who have purchased tickets and then send an email to say, hey, we're donating our tickets.
absolutely. And don't be, just send it in. It will get used. It's so needed. We all know that it's needed. So just help. So, Carter, we thank you for sharing your stories with us so we could do this special, because, mental health is not as exciting as you. It is, but not the pictures. So we thank you for sharing your stories. And we'll hear more about not only what you've done in golf, but other things that have happened to you recently that just blows my mind. So I'm looking forward to sharing those stories as well. And even like, what you've done with a pro golfer yourself with your line of apparel. So we'll talk and hear from one of the pros that you are now sponsoring with your golf apparel. So thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Might have beat it. Focus, you got only one shot. Dry.
Hey, buddy, just keep doing that. You're going to be all right. Chip and curve. Well, nice to meet you. Oh, all right. See ya.
The great thing about my shirts is, for example, when you have a golf tournament, you can put your logo on it, and you can put my logo on it. Our shirt comes in 2 different styles, turtleneck and polos. These are laser cut hats. They have small holes inside so you can feel the breeze on the golf course. They come in red, khaki, white, black, women's pants, extra small to extra large, and men's polo small 3X. For the golf courses that would want to have my apparel, that I would say it is very good, very comfortable, and it doesn't absorb sweat. And also, I would want them to be comfortable and have fun and stay positive and have a great day.
Many people don't realize that Carter Bonus was unable to speak until he was 4 years old because of his autism. It's really a testament of his determination of where he is today. We're going to take a look at what Carter endured.
All right, hands back. Come on, splash through it with acceleration. Beautiful.
Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf Apparel doing more than bringing attention to his line of clothing and accessories, but helping people understand how he was able to do it. Carter's journey was a rough one, undergoing intense bullying at school because he is autistic.
So when I was little and I went to school, I was always shy.
Look at him.
I was always shy. And when I went to different schools, I was always bullied almost every single day. But then I had some friends that helped me.
Why do you think you were bullied?
Because I was different from everybody else.
Unable to cope with his emotions, sometimes he would take out his frustrations in extended rants. Then one day, his mom, who is a therapist, got an unexpected call from the school.
He, at school, one day told the teachers, right, if something else goes wrong today, I'm going to kill myself. And luckily, they knew me, know who I am. He was not Baker acted. They called me instead to come pick him up. But that was just a very scary thing for me to go through as a mother, dealing in the profession I'm in, and to have my son, right, to have these same things because he wasn't being heard, and because of the treatment he was receiving in school that he felt at that moment, that was the only out from the way he was being treated.
Dr. Thelma Tinney would go on to create a nonprofit in Carter's honor, calling it Healing Arts Institute of South Florida, because it was mental health services that helped save his life and give him the confidence to focus on his future. Carter calls his line of golf apparel Spectrum because he's considered high functioning on the autism spectrum scale. And while society might say to hide his diagnosis, Carter embraces it and encourages others to do the same. He has even gained the attention of NFL player Wesley Saunders, who spoke at Carter's charity golf tournament about how players in the league need help coping with the pressures of the game.
Thank Dr. Tinney for having me once again. Like she said, yes, we did meet a year ago at the West Saunders Super Bowl Sanctuary in Tampa. I played in the NFL for 5 years for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. And after my playing days, I was a little over 300 pounds at one point, so weight was something, an issue of mine, but also mental health and issues that I was dealing with in my personal life. And I felt it part of my purpose and my intention to go out there and help people who sometimes can't help themselves. And it's a little assertive and aggressive when we talk about it, especially with men, right? Especially with guys who like to hold things in and and let it fester until it explodes. And that's no way to live. And I did that with food and with feelings.
No judgment at all. We have to end the stigma attached to receiving mental health services. And that is truly the way to reduce the suicide rates that we see are skyrocketing right now.
The charity golf tournament raised money for Healing Arts Institute of South Florida, which offers no-cost mental health services primarily for youth 22 and under across the state of Florida and several others. But this life-saving work can't be done without your help and the help of dedicated sponsors.
Oh, that's very important for our sponsors to be involved in the community like that. Just to be able to afford the opportunity for Healing Arts to provide these services at no charge to those who are underinsured and uninsured. So those sponsors are critical and key to the actually health and well-being of the community.
Thanks to Wesley Saunders' influence, Carter is now creating a line for players with more athletic builds.
All right, I've been around a lot of brands,
and a lot of materials out there, and this is something that you can actually play in. You want to feel athletic while you're on the golf course. You don't want to feel like you're in a suit and tie. So it gives you some wiggle room, and that's something I need, especially being a bigger guy. So I know a lot of athletes, especially in the NFL, they appreciate the texture and the make of something like this. So this is, hey, when you going places with this, Dr. Timmy, let Carter know, let everybody know this is the next hot spot.
Thank you.
To learn more about how to book Carter or the Healing Arts Institute of South Florida, go to healingartssfl.org. So joining me now to talk more about what Carter endured is mental health experts Dr. Thelma Tenney, which is, of course, Carter's mom, and Dr. Tasha. Dr. Tasha and Dr. Tenney, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Dr. Tenney, let me start with you. You know, what Carter endured, nobody knows better than you. And one of the things that I want to bring about was, you know, he had, autism, but the fact that what that support system did to the whole family once he started to receive mental health services. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, I think that just goes to show how important support systems are for us to not work things alone. I know as therapists too, we sometimes become the support for our clients, but we most, as we should, make sure that that client has some type of support outside of therapy. So it's not just that once or twice a week where they're getting support from us. So it really does take a village, if you will, not just to raise a child, but to be a healthy, well-rounded individual.
Yeah, and even, you know, Dr. Tasha, I know you guys both work with, you know, young people and just families in general. What are you seeing, you know, that people need the most during this time?
I can answer that. Well, it's interesting. I love the way Dr. Tinney said that. It really is a system. So as we work with the kids, you know, we also will say to the parents, you know, let me know if you want to come in for a session for yourself. And even that alone, you know, sometimes you have that parental kind of pressure of responsibility of making sure that your kid's fine, but you're not realizing that if you're not fine, the kid may be kind of matching what's going on at home or the household's kind of possible toxicity, possible pressure. And so we love to ask the parents to come in as couples, as individuals. And even at that point, you can literally see them to just be able to say, you know what, I needed that, right? And then when they go home, there's more of a relaxed kind of place from where they're parenting. I've definitely seen the results myself at Healing Arts. It's very cool, and sometimes it doesn't even take that long. A lot of people get nervous about coming into sessions, and it's like, I don't want to see or nothing's wrong with me, right? We have to start with that.
Right.
Or I don't want
that.
to spend the money. And it's like, oh, hold on. You may not have to, you know, like this is the reasons why we do things like the gala for fundraisers so that we can actually give these discounted rates to families that maybe can't afford the $100 session or the $200 session. It's like, now what about if it's free? Are you still going to come and talk to us?
You know, you've made it as easy as possible, Dr. Tenney, you know, with the Healing Arts Institute of South Florida. Can you tell us, you know, what really that motivator that, you know, really got you to the point where you were like, we need to make this as accessible as possible?
I would say that driving motivator was me needing support myself, right? So me needing that support, having great support system like Dr. Tasha, uh, Dr. Deborah, all of my colleagues. So as you know, you've done a story about how we do therapy for the therapist and are there for each other. It just makes sense that we strive to break down the barriers that we see in the community as much as possible for families. So, not just saying there's a problem, this exists, but now what can we do about it? And again, you all know that a lot of our therapists donate their time. They graciously donate their time. And we also do, as Dr. Tasha said, fundraisers throughout the year so that they don't have to donate as much of their time, but the individuals and families can still come in and get the services that they need. Again, a lot of times the families may have insurance, but there's a $3,000 copay, and that stops them from coming in. Or there are great therapists who don't take insurance. So where is that option for them? So just again, seeing those gaps and making sure that we bridge those gaps so everyone can come in and experience and get the help that they need.
And you know, this is I love the unmask, and I love mental health. You know, as much as you have known me through the Healing Arts Institute of South Florida and covering your stories, and I met Dr. Tasha, you know, during the first story that we did when we were trying to bring attention to the first unmasked gala. But what I have actually worked in mental health, or done my own documentary on mental health in California, and I interviewed literally 48 different people, you know, for one story. If you want documentary, and they pretty much all made it in, you know, but most of those people were mental health experts, and it had to do with along the lines of rehabilitation, you know, for drug recovery, you know. But it's not so much, you know, you said something about people don't have to have a problem, like, you know, it's life is what it is. And
Yeah.
so it's just being able to handle life. And one of the things that I loved and what I learned about it was called the CASC. It was Community Assessment Service Centers. And what I loved is that, you know, it was trying to find that trigger. You know, what led me to this place in the first place? And I say that because it's not the addiction that gets them, it's what triggered it in the first place. And that's, you know, where you guys come in and you help people talk, you know, why they think the way they think. And it's just so important. And there are other avenues out there, even ministries that help aid you through the week, you know,
Absolutely.
after your therapy. And so, you know, those are different avenues that people can work with. But how do you get people, like you were talking about the parents, to just say yes? Okay, I'll come in. I mean, how important do you have to make it to them to help them understand it's okay? I mean, because I know, you know, those stigmas are thick, you know, those are strong. They're like bloodlines, you know.
It is true. I always I like to say you can't change what you don't acknowledge, right? So you really just can't. You don't know what you don't know. But the interesting thing is, you know, I like to ask simple questions like, you know, what's keeping you up at night? You know, um, what is preventing you from going to some of the family celebrations? You know, is there some strife or a conflict that's kind of not being touched because it happened in 1998 and we just don't talk about it? And the truth is, you want to, and you really kind of want to be a part of it, but that pain and those emotions, sometimes it's easier, we think, to avoid them, right? To not address them, and everything's fine, right? That's the word. The world is just, how are you doing? I'm fine. Are you fine? Everyone's fine. And then you kind of get on the couch and you realize, wow, I guess everything hasn't been fine. And it's okay. So that's the thing about it. It's like, and it's actually okay. I think that's my favorite part, is that when that light bulb comes out and it's like, oh my gosh, I should have been seeing you 20 years ago. And it's like, yeah, but we're here now. And if you want to bring your sister in or your cousin in or grandma, and we can finally have the conversation so that the family understands that healing, that sense of healing, it's like the best thing about moving forward. When you finally understand your mental health is just as important as your physical health. In fact, it may be affecting it, right? So even thoughts of like, you know what, I have been having more headaches this year or since the pandemic, you know, and it's like, I wonder what the headaches are if you're drinking your water and taking your naps, and you know what's really going on underneath. And so that's something that's the reason why I'm going to forever want to do this job, and of course work with my colleagues at Healing Arts. It's one of those things when you find the other clinicians that their heart is pure, because we all have the community's best interest at heart. It's almost like unheard of, but it does happen, and we're here.
It is such a pleasure, you know, to meet you guys always, you know, meet with you, because there's so much information you can share. And I really want to encourage people, give the call. reach out to them. Reach out to the Healing Arts Institute of South Florida. It's okay. It's not, they're not going to like, attack you or anything. It's not that scary. They're really great people. And so I really encourage you to do that. Also we'll talk more about the Unmasked Gala, but go online, see what it's about, come to the gala, you know, and be a part of it. And you're going to learn more even just being there. And
Yeah,
so
and you'll get to meet us. You'll get to meet Dr. Tasha behind the scenes, and me and all the other therapists outside of work. And again, just getting to know who we are. And that's the main purpose of this, right? Get to know who we are.
excellent. Thank you, ladies, so much. And we'll talk some more, Dr. Tenney. I know I'm going to grab you, and we'll be talking more along the way. So, Dr. Tasha, thank you so much. And I just don't want to be remiss. Be looking for these two ladies. They are in a unique documentary, and you will hear more about that soon.
Thanks, Jacqueline.
Thank you.
Bye.
How hula hooping helps you in golf is that it engages your core. For golf, you need to have a strong core to hit the golf ball good. So that's why my coach suggested hula hooping, which I'm really good at. I am very good.
How long do you think you can hula hoop?
20 minutes, maybe 30.
Without stopping?
Yeah. Minutes was my record. Yeah.
As mentioned at the top of the show, this special is designed to bring attention to the Healing Arts Institute of South Florida. They're holding an Unmasked Gala on August 27th at the Conrad Hilton in Fort Lauderdale, and you're invited. We would love for you to participate. There are ways you can buy tickets or you can sponsor someone else to go. Either way, the benefit is that people will receive mental health services for free. And the nonprofit was actually created in Carter's honor because it was mental health services and golf that helped give him the confidence to create his own line of golf apparel. We want to share Carter's stories with you, but we also want to bring attention to the Unmasked Gala, which raises money for those who need no-cost mental health services. That's what Healing Arts of South Florida provides. So you can go to healingartssfl.org. That's www.healingartssfl.org. As you know, Carter designs golf apparel, but he's also a golfer. He's out there pretty much, every day if he could. But he's out there with Coach Corey Henry of the Country Club of Coral Springs most of the time, or he's often playing in tournaments. Here's a look at what Coach Corey had to say.
When I first met Carter and his mom, Dr. Tenney, obviously Carter was quiet. He was a lot smaller too. He's hit a big growth spurt in like the last 6 months, which is nice to see. But once you get into Carter's world, he's just a regular person, awesome person, outgoing, funny, smart, incredibly smart. And he's just a fun kid to be around.
And, I concur on all those things because I have, I met Dr. Tenney first. She first was telling me about the, Healing Arts Institute. And that's actually the first time I met Carter as well, but I met her first. And he is so smart. If I'm talking to him, unless you told me he had autism, I wouldn't know it.
Yeah, I agree. You'd almost not know, but you know, when you're really kind of in his world, you see, you know, the difficult, I guess what's the word I'm looking for? You know, the hardships that he goes through for what he has, but you know, thankfully through his mom and you know, her connections and her program and everything, he got diagnosed and started, you know, his treatment and therapy super young. So it's impressive for being, you know, where he was at when he was such a young age and diagnosed to now. I mean, he's very good at, you know, controlling his emotions, especially in the last couple years that I've known him and what I've seen. And obviously, yes, I'm with Carter, you know, at least an hour a day, probably 5 days a week. So, you know, it's a pretty close, tight relationship now. Yeah, so I could probably speak to him, you know, almost like a parent. Um, so I know, you know, when he's teetering that line or not. But he's really, it's really impressive to see how well he does control himself, or, you know, you could tell when he's just having one of those days, and, you know, that's going to be like that forever for him. But, you know, the more you know, he just, it's just a little bit harder for him, but that's, you know, life. And that's what he, you know, probably is trying to, that's probably part of his message, that, you know, even though he might not, you know, look like the, um, what most people would, you know, maybe think of their first image of autism, you know, but that it's still there. And, you know, he still has, you know, a lot of the same hardships, you know, and like everyone knows, and if they don't, you know, one of the main reasons
And make a
why he
contribution if you
started
would
and how
like.
it started was he, at a young age, at 9 years old, he literally was, you know, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get a job, mommy, because you know, who's going to hire me?
And
And he
who
says,
thinks
well, if
like
I
that?
just start my own business and hire myself, you know, then I don't have to worry about it, which is, you know, that right there shows you how smart he is, you know, on another level.
Yeah, and I
Incredibly
think
smart.
I think it's hard for people to even imagine that this 10-year-old is really thinking like that.
I
You
know.
know, I think that people think, oh, well, you know, really it's his parents that started it, you know, or, you know, you've got that in the back of your mind because you think, well, if he has autism, then how can he think like that? But that's the way Carter thinks. I
Hmm.
mean, every time he says something to me, I just sit there and I'm like, where did that
Yeah.
come
It's
from?
hard for us to process because we're like, "Wow,
You know,
let me think what you just, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
you know, he's like, I really think he's like a grown man in a
Hmm.
boy's body. I mean, he really is um, a forward thinker. And that's how I describe him everywhere I go. And I think that that is part of the reason why he is getting so much attention. I mean, yes, Ernie L's son, you know, has autism,
Hmm.
but even still, I mean, the time he took with Carter, it was just astounding to me. The way to see them, the two of them walking on the course, and there you are in the picture, you know, right there,
Yeah.
right behind them, you know, at every move. And I think that speaks a lot to also the trust that Dr. Tenney, you know, his mother and you know, and Eddie Tenney have with you. I mean, you are definitely a parent to him in every way. But you know, what does that say to you when you're watching Carter, like all the media attention he's been getting? You know,
I mean, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a little even overwhelming for me. Um, you know, because I'm, you know, who's, unless you're famous, I guess you're not really used to it. Even though I did, you know, see it coming, I kind of knew. I used to tell Dr. Tenney, you know, it's gonna blow up a lot faster than probably I'm even telling you. And she was just, oh, you know, and then boosh. I mean, just everyday phone calls now, interviews, this, that, which is, I mean, it's awesome. That's, you know, golf is allowing, I guess Carter to use, their highest platforms to get it out there, which you need to do. I mean, that's the only way to get it out there.
It is. I mean, it is the only way. I have the privilege of helping to get that media attention. I've when Dr. Tenney asked me, she goes, "Do you think you can help, get some media attention around him being at the PGA show?" And I go, "Hey, let's see. I'm a news producer. I tell people all the time, I am not a PR person, but I know exactly what a news producer wants because I was the one always receiving the press releases, in the newsroom." So I said, "Sure." And so I've done that for my clients. I've always, if I see a news story, and this had all the elements and more. I mean, this has layers upon layers upon layers of stories, from the mental and timely, from the mental health, from the fact of his age and starting his own line, and so many people starting their own businesses. I mean, he is speaking to so many people at the same time. And so I really wanted to talk to you because you have such a great influence on him. And I know that you see things that most people don't see. I mean, this picture here, I mean, look at the confidence in his face. I mean, what do you think about the interviews or the fact that, his first interview was like with the Golf Channel and the PGA show. Most people don't do that. That's usually not their first interview.
I mean, his first interview was at the PGA show, live on the Golf Channel. I mean, it was obviously a live interview. It wasn't, I was there in the background. And they didn't, they went right into it. And I thought both Dr. Tenney and Carter crushed it. I mean, I was beyond impressed. And I'll tell you, he'll tell you he was nervous as can be. I don't know what to say. I thought he said all the right things. I thought he was as clear as he could be. And it was impressive. I mean, 10 minutes later, I'm getting calls and emails from people watching the Golf Channel, which is millions of homes. And did I just see, don't you teach him? They said your name in Country Club of Coral Springs. I said, yeah, that's him. And that was it. That was, I think that's really what led it even farther because that night as the PGA show was winding down, someone from the PGA show that Dr. Tenney hadn't even talked to came and found her. And I guess I'm assuming that Ernie Els or someone from his team saw it on the Golf Channel and they went through their connections and said, go find them and, connect us.
It's been amazing.
Yeah.
What made you decide to teach Carter?
So I was the head professional when I met them, when I had a lot more time to teach. And his mom came to me. I guess one of my assistants was teaching him for, I guess, only a couple months. I didn't even know. And then he left, took a new job. And so Carter needed a new coach. I don't think they wanted to travel to where he went. And so she came in and talked to me and it went from there. Went from 1 day a week to here we are 5 days a week. But you know, in that time period, Carter was, and I think the reason Dr. Tenney and I have a good relationship is because we both just keep it real. We can handle the truths. Not that that's a bad thing, but there's no faking it. It's just, this is what it is. And I used to tell her, like, he was a straight up beginner still. And, when can he play tournaments? And I used to say, listen, I couldn't, it's at least a year down the road, maybe longer. I don't know. And it was about a year, maybe not even a year, that I felt confident that Carter can go, not necessarily compete yet, but he'd be comfortable out there and he can finish the round and he'd be good. And I'll tell you what, his first tournament ever, 9-hole tournament, he shot, I think 63 or 64, which not that good, but everyone starts somewhere. Everyone probably shoots that.
So where do you see Carter in the future?
Hopefully I see him playing, going through the different levels of golf, you know, going to the next junior tour, playing high school golf, playing, you know, the top junior tour, maybe, you know, hopefully playing college golf, and then hopefully playing professional golf. You know, if that's what he really wants, I would love to see it. I mean, I'm a golf PGA professional for a reason, because I love golf at the highest level. So that's what I would love for him. But what I want for him is obviously him to be happy and to do, you know, what he wants. But right now, you know, he says he wants to be a golfer. So to me, I'm like, you know, that's the dream. I get to live some of my dream through him potentially, right?
Oh, I think you both are just one. I think you are wonderful for one another, just from watching you and how you interact with one another. I really think it's a, you know, a team in with Dr. Tenney as well, you know, with the Healing Arts Institute and, you know, the no-cost mental health services that she offers. I mean, it's just a beautiful picture of competition, of, you know, everything, you know, that you would want all together. And then it's outside, you know, it's a sport, you know, that he's introducing this sport to so many people as well.
No, you're right.
And I just find that, you know, maybe autism, kids with autism or parents with kids with autism, maybe they never even thought about, well, what about golf?
Yep.
And I love what Carter said, and, you know, all the sports that he tried, you know, the coaches don't yell at you like I guess they do, you know, in football or basketball. You know, that's part of it. That screaming, yelling is all out of it. You know, I love them all. I love all sports, believe me. And but it made so much sense. I was like, well, yeah, I guess you're right. Now I'm sure there's some tensions on the golf course. I've seen a couple of little, you know, him fighting back. Come on, coach, let me do this, or whatever it is. But it's not, you know, it makes sense, you know, that he appreciates what you do and what he has said about you to me on camera. You know, I'll share that sooner or later. But, you know, he holds you in such a high esteem. I mean, he loves you, period. And
it goes both ways. I'm sure,
so.
You know, I'm sure I help him, but, you know, I let him know all the time that, you know, he helps me more than, you know, he would ever know, just with everything, with how I teach, how I maybe view things, how I, you know, father raised my own kids.
I have 3 boys.
3 boys, yep. And yeah, he definitely puts things in perspective to me, and I watch that and I just say, you know, I like to think that I was similar to him growing up like that, in the terms of he's just a good kid. He's just a good kid. There's not a bad bone in his body. He's just a good kid.
Keep watching. We're going to hear from an LPGA pro coming up.
Got the whole line right there for you.
As I mentioned earlier, Carter was unable to speak until he was 4 years old. But with all of the exposure and interview after interview, Carter gained more confidence and he began to accept speaking engagements. Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf signing autographs after his riveting first official speaking engagement at Banyan Elementary School in Sunrise, Florida. In the end, they were on their feet, giving him a standing ovation. And here's why.
So people called me different and special, but I didn't feel special because I got bullied almost every single day of my life. I met a teacher named Miss McCullough who understood me and didn't make fun of me. And my classmates, they kind of respected me and treated me like their own. Most of them. The turning point. At
fourth grade, I was having such a bad day, and they called me to the principal's office, and I said, if one more bad thing happens to me, I would kill myself. I didn't believe I could do it. I thought nothing was possible, and I was just going to live a life of just being bullied constantly all the time. But now, that's not a problem anymore. No, I don't know why they bullied me, but my mom told me to stay positive. It's just like how people bully you. You didn't do anything to them. They just start bullying you because...
Why do bullies bully?
Because...
They're hurting?
Yes.
Yeah, and they take it out on other people.
Yes. Yes. Autism is a dysfunction in the brain that makes some people think differently. Most people in my school thought, hey, this kid doesn't have autism, but their examples were some autistic kids at our school didn't talk. They grunted and they didn't really think very well. But some orders of autism, some people might be able to talk, just not as well. And me, I'm able to talk, but my actions are kind of questionable. Any other questions? The businesses I first wanted to start were selling rocks, doing a lemonade stand, and selling produce from our garden in our backyard. And I started by telling my mom, and before she said yes, I showed her kids that had their own business, and I said, why do I need to wait? And then she said, you don't have to wait. And we found a good business idea, golf apparel, and we decided to do it.
You should always treat people how you want to be treated because you don't know what they're going through or how they're going through it. And you want to treat people good because you don't know how they're feeling at home or they live by themselves.
And I learned that just because somebody's different doesn't mean you have to bully somebody.
The story is really nice because, like, even though you have trouble, like, say somebody's bullying you, like how Carter went, you'll still be able to relate to it and turn that negative into a positive and maybe make something that you'll love, like how he plays golf.
I feel as if some kids are mistreated when they don't deserve to be. And people should really quit being this way. Everyone should be nice to one another.
It's been hard ever since COVID to get guest speakers to come in. And when I first saw this story, I thought right then and there, I need to have him, speak to the boys and girls because this is something that they all can relate to.
I just want you guys to understand how important it is that we always make everyone feel loved, feel accepted, and appreciated, despite our differences, okay? Because it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what differences you have, you are important and you are here for a reason. Carter, we thank you. I am so proud of you. When you said you live here in Coral Springs, I feel even prouder. Thank you.
Tell me about your first time speaking before a group.
Well, it was really good, and they didn't make fun of me. They were really nice.
Do you want to do it again?
Yeah, I want to do it again.
Just like other businesses, Carter joined his local Chamber of Commerce. He became its youngest member. And when he snagged his first pro shop, which was in the city of Coral Springs, the Chamber of Commerce was there for the ribbon cutting.
Breaking out the balloons as a small army of organizers turned the Country Club of Coral Springs into an outdoor extravaganza, all in preparation for Carter Bonus's ribbon cutting for Spectrum Golf. For the first time, a golf course is carrying the 11-year-old's line of apparel in their pro shop, and some city leaders and professionals came out to celebrate with him.
Well, we are having a ribbon cutting here because it'll make it official that my clothes will be sold at the golf course. And the ribbon cutting will make it official.
Carter's inspirational line of apparel for men, women, and children share a positive message inside the band of the pants. Carter showed off his shirts, hats, and how to customize apparel for your next golf tournament.
So the best thing about my shirts is that, for example, when you're having a golf tournament, you can have your logo on it and also my logo.
When the guests arrived, it was time for the big moment. Carter, who is autistic, is the youngest member of the Coral Springs Coconut Creek Chamber of Commerce, and many of the members came out to show their support, network, and of course, enjoy the food.
You know, he's become recognized around here for who he is and how excited he is about not only playing golf but about his business. And I think that's given him a big lift in life. And frankly, it's given some of our golfers a big lift in their life because they really appreciate what he's doing, how he's doing it, how dedicated he is, and how much fun he's having. Corey Henry's our general manager, and he's been coaching Carter for quite some time now. And he loves to brag about how much he's improved and what just a great young man he is. So welcome, and let's have a little fun and excitement and open up the shop.
I'm so proud of this young man. You know, the sky's the limit. I'm just glad that I have a front row seat, and I thank you, Carter, for just continuing to just be you and embracing, you know, challenges. So I purchased, and I ask everybody to come out and support the cause.
My name's Howard Weitzner. I'm an attorney at Cutler Raider and a proud member of the Coral Springs Chamber of Commerce and an ambassador in the program. And we're thrilled to be here today with my son Logan and my other son Brian to support Carter and Spectrum Golf. I think it's absolutely tremendous what he's doing for other kids and for the community, and we're very proud to support him and wish him the best of luck going forward. I got two hats, one for me and one for my grandfather. It's really a wonderful cause. I'm so happy to be here, and I can't wait to get out of the course wearing these.
Dr. Teddy reached out to me and told me about Carter and what he's doing and the fact that he's become like a golf pro already. I know I need to take lessons from him so I can get better at golf, so I'm happy to know you. I really am. I'm a fan. So, you know, I follow him on Instagram, social media, and I'm always liking all the posts because I love seeing what he's doing. And I love keeping up and following him on his journey. So, you're very welcome, man. I'm here to help. I'm always here to support you.
Carter and his junior golfer friends also held a golf clinic for the guests, and they took their work seriously. Listen to the advice they gave the vice mayor.
Better. A little bit to that
To that side? Okay.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right where your foot is. Okay.
Yeah. Did it kind of soft.
Like don't like come all the way back here?
No. Yeah, to get a little soft. Downhill. I'll move my foot, okay?
All right. Oh, hit a little too hard.
Yeah.
I aimed at your foot.
Hit it soft. Look, you aim correct.
Oh,
no,
I aimed at okay.
No, you aim correctly. You just need to do it a little more softer because if you hit it faster, it won't break.
Okay, got it.
For the golf courses that would want to have my apparel, that I would say it is very good, very comfortable, and it doesn't absorb sweat. And also, I would want them to be comfortable and have fun and stay positive and have a great day.
That's good. That is really good. That is so good. Blackberry too. You can really taste the blackberry, which is crucial. I'm gonna kill the whole bottle.
Right. So tell us again how you like that one opposed to regular.
So in regular vitamin water, the amount of sugar that's in there can cause your saliva to stick. But with this, when you drink it, there's not very much sugar in it, so your saliva does not stick. Keeps you hydrated.
There have been so many firsts for Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf, but one day in particular stands out.
Do hereby proclaim April 25th, 2022 as Carter Bonus Day.
Just like that, the city of Lauderhill recognizing Monday, April 25th as Carter Bonus Day in honor of Autism Awareness Month. Carter, who is autistic, launched his own line of golf apparel called Spectrum Golf because he's ranked high on the autism spectrum scale.
I like to thank the commissioners, and I would like to thank my coach at the Country Club of Coral Springs. He taught me everything I know about golf right now, and I would like to thank my mom because she's the best mom I could ever wish for.
Starting his own line of inspirational apparel was quite an accomplishment since Carter was not verbal until the age of 4. When he did go to school, students weren't very nice.
And so I started my business when I was 10 because I was worried I wouldn't get hired in the future because I have autism and I had a really hard time making friends in school. When I was little, I thought having autism was horrible because I got bullied every day. But now I learned to embrace it and learn that it's okay and it makes me different. And it makes me who I am. My business is an apparel line because I wanted to start a business, but after a lot of no's and like 6 months of asking, my mom said yes. I had some bad business ideas like selling rocks or a lemonade stand, and I chose I want to have my own apparel line because me and my mom spend so much money trying to find clothes that are comfortable for me, but they're not comfortable at all. And my clothes are for men, children, and women.
Awesome. Carter didn't leave the Lauderhill Chamber empty-handed. He gave each of the commissioners a customized golf shirt to take home, thanking them for making it Carter Bonus Day and recognizing Autism Awareness Month.
You're welcome.
After the ceremony, Carter was interviewed by Joel Waldman of CBS 4 News in Miami. Go to www.carterspectrumgolf.com to see the story online. We have more stories to come, including an interview with an LPGA pro. I need to start this part of the interview with really an applause because what you have to understand about Carter is that wherever he goes, he has an escort. And the two people you're looking at, he is either with mom, with Dr. Tenney, or with his dad's Eddie Tenney. And I tell you what, they are magical to watch. They are connected at the hip. And it is a beautiful thing to see when one I'm watching, I feel like I'm the historian, for what's been going on. I get to cover these stories. So thanks you guys for joining me because I want to talk about something that you do that's special, and you do it with a phone, and Eddie, you do it with a camera. Can you tell us, they shoot their own video. I couldn't do half of the stories that you've seen. I could not do without Dr. Tenney and Eddie. Can you guys talk about like what it's like to shoot your own video? Now, Dr. Tenney, you've had actual lessons, so can we talk about those lessons I've shared with you?
Yeah, well,
it's a learning, always a learning process. Holding the camera the right way, making sure I have the camera, I have it out. One moment.
Bless you.
Thank you. I have to say that it is a tad bit difficult as a therapist and always teaching people to stay in the moment, and now trying to draw back and make sure I capture the moment is something that is a big struggle for me, but I definitely am getting better. And as you said earlier, I definitely feel like you that Carter just needs like a drone or something to follow him around all day, because he truly is so entertaining, and the stuff he says, it's like, hold up, will you say that again? What did you just say?
Yeah,
So
that's not a bad investment. Not a drone might be a good idea if we could get away with that.
yeah.
But not only do you follow him around with your phone, which is so important. And for me, just the way you're holding that phone right there, I like the landscape. You like to turn it vertically for Instagram. You say it works good, but for television, you can take the video that you shoot, and we have done it, and actually get coverage with it. The other thing is that Eddie, he walks around with that beauty, you know? And he talked to us about, you know, what you do with that camera and even what you plan to do with it.
Well, basically, it's kind of a mid-level camera. It's a Canon EOS R mirrorless camera, and basically, I kind of honed my skills shooting Carter at various events that he's in preparation for me to do kind of like amateur photography after retirement. So it's actually a pretty cool scenario at this point, because what it gives me is practice in honing my photography skills so that I can be a better photographer when I'm in retirement. And I just do it for fun.
Yeah, and thank goodness, because I can show you, and you will see some of the different pictures that he's taken are just fantastic. I mean, you will have such a history of what Carter's done just between the two of you. And I tell people, I talk about you guys all the time. You're like my heroes, because I can't, no marketing team can be everywhere. And if you train an employee or even yourself how to use your phone, and I even do a workshop on it. I even hold workshops on this. How to use your phone. I use an iPad. Most of my stories I shoot, I use an iPad Pro. And you'll be able to put stories together and video together and create brand new content. And for nonprofits, most of you don't have marketing departments. Small to mid-sized businesses don't have that. But through this is what we've been able to do is create these stories, but also, like I said, a timeline. I mean, you'll be able to go back and he'll be able to see, this amazing journey um, in full vision.
Yeah.
What would you guys say to other parents who have an athlete in their home?
From I guess, a storage point of view for saving away all that data for film and for as well as stills. We've invested in getting, I think we have 2 terabytes of cloud storage in Google Drive. I guess it doesn't have to be Google Drive. It could be Apple or Yahoo. I think Microsoft has OneDrive, but any drive that will give you storage or an opportunity to store away all the data. And 2 terabytes is a whole lot of memory. So I have created maybe a small little dent as far as storage space with all the pictures that I've taken, and the same with Thelma's video. So I would just say invest. I can't remember how much a yearly subscription costs for that amount of storage, but it's kind of nominal, not very expensive, and you'll be able to store all that data, and as well as what I've done with you is be able to share the content via permissions link where you get emailed and you are allowed permission to visit whatever content I'm allowed or you're allowed to see.
It has been essential. And what I do, and I have to admit, I'm literally on my, I had to get a new computer because I couldn't, for the space. I had to get a brand new computer, and which was fine because my kids get the old one, once I clean it up. But, with all those pictures, but it was just too much, too many pictures. And yes, from us going back and forth. But I have no complaints because, you're not the only person I'm working with. That's why. For me, I had to get another computer to be able to keep up with all the videos that I shoot and all the different stories I get to tell. And so, but yes, that was such a great point, and I didn't even bring it up. I love that. That is a very good investment. That storage, use your phones, get a phone with more storage, an iPad with more storage, and you can just assign anyone, anyone who can hold a camera, you know, still enough, long enough, you'll be able to create your own content. And we want you to own your own media. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to Dr. Tenney and Eddie, because they're my number one photogs on the scene. When they're out in Michigan and, on the LPGA in Naples, and, you'll just see them with their cameras. I wasn't there. They were. And I just really wanted to bring that point home to people that you can do this. Yes, Eddie has, photography experience, but Dr. Tenney did not, and but her videos are not only am I using them, but the media is using them as well. So I just wanted to point that out. I just want to thank you guys so much, for just sharing that information. And we'll just continue on with the special, get some more stories and see some more of that video you shot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep in mind, this special is designed to bring attention to the Healing Arts Institute of South Florida. It is holding its Unmasked Gala to raise money to offer no-cost mental health services. If we would love to have you there, buy tickets or sponsor someone to go. Go to healingartssfl.org.
Can you say that again for me?
I got a bunch of good pointers. He pointed me out that I always aim too far right, which I do, so I'm very thankful for his help.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good one, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good luck.
See you out there?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
Thanks.
See you guys.
Well, that was a clip from the LPGA's Dow Great Lakes Bay Invitational in Midland, Michigan. Just like Carter had a chance to walk in the PGA during the Chubb Classic with the legendary Ernie Els, the LPGA gave him a turn as well. During the Invitational, Carter and his friend Summer enjoyed several activities, from chipping competitions to being caddies for the pros. Carter also had a chance to put his Spectrum golf apparel inside the merchandising tent to be sold during the Great Lakes Bay Invitational. He was also able to walk the course with golf pros Anita Uwadia, Selena Parks, Morgan Mitro, and Celine Harbin. During that time, he also offered to sponsor one of the pros with his Spectrum golf apparel. We'll tell you who said yes. Not only did Carter get a chance to enjoy the activities during the week, but he also had an opportunity to speak along with his mother, Dr. Thelma Tenney.
Up out of your chair for just a minute.
A warm welcome for mental health expert Dr. Thelma Tenney and her son Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf, both invited to speak at Dow's Leadership Inclusion Summit called SOAR. It's all taking place at the LPGA's Great Lakes Bay Invitational in Midland, Michigan.
Carter was 10 years old when he started Spectrum Golf, and he named his company Spectrum Golf because he too is on the autism spectrum. His company is a golf apparel company, and if you have been in any of the shops, you will find it out there. And I'm wearing it right now, and I have to tell you the material is amazing. So you definitely should go buy some.
Dr. Tenney opening up about how she struggled to share with others that her son had been diagnosed with autism, even after forming her nonprofit Healing Arts Institute of South Florida.
For a long time, I shielded Carter from the world and didn't share his diagnosis, didn't really share the purpose behind founding my nonprofit because, again, still thinking about the stigma and not wanting to expose him to some of the not so nice things in the world. And he actually came to me as I'm speaking, as I go out and I do talks in the community, he always would want to come up and share. So I have lots of videos of him, 6 and older, coming up and sharing, and he just became an advocate and he started sharing himself.
Some of the golfers also talked about the importance of inclusion when it comes to mental health.
I think there's a lot more awareness about mental health also being an injury. You know, you just think of an injury and you're thinking about, oh, you hurt your knee or that, but like mental health is as important or more.
It was mental health services and golf that helped Carter cope with his diagnosis and ultimately start his own line of golf apparel, Spectrum Golf.
I have autism, and I really had a hard time making friends. So I worried about if I would get hired or not. So I figured if I had my own business, I wouldn't have to worry about that. Pretty brilliant.
Carter stealing the show with his one-liners throughout the chat and hit a home run with the crowd when he was asked this question.
Do you have a friend here? Would you like to introduce her really quickly? Yeah. Tell us about her. Summer is right there. Stand up, Summer.
Stand up, Summer.
So why did you Summer here today? Because he's my best friend. It's a good answer. She'll be a future LPGA player.
After the summit, Carter and Summer began stocking the shelves at the merchandising tent, filling them with shirts, visors, and caps. Customers coming in and walking out with their hands full. Now, if participating in the LPGA's Great Lakes Bay Invitational wasn't enough, Carter was invited to play at the South Florida HBCU Golf Classic in Naples, Florida at the Ritz-Carlton Tiburon. That's where the pros play. If you're not a golfer, that's where the pros play. And something extremely exciting happened. The South Florida HBCU Golf Classic certainly topping the list of who's who events.
Here we are at the Great Tiburon for the second South Florida HBCU Golf Classic. We have golfers from all over the country who are here. We're getting prepared to come. My good friend, Attorney Bill Cohn is here. We're excited about a very fun day that we're about to have. So, you know what? We're just doing it for the kids.
Supporting a great cause. Unbelievable.
The founder, William McCormick, and CEO of Americlaims Billing, putting together a venue that, simply put, was spectacular.
Here we are in Naples at the Ritz. You can't get it any better than this. So Florida Memorial knows how to do it right. You know, Dr. Hodrick, hats off to you and Bill McCormick for putting on a first-class event.
The tournament, held at the Ritz-Carlton Tiburon in Naples, Florida, raises money for students who need help filling the gap to attend Florida Memorial University in Miami Gardens, as well as other historically Black colleges and universities around the country.
The greatest mission in the world is education. It is the one great liberator, and I have such a passion for Florida Memorial University and what it's doing and how it's changing lives, and our focus is on excellence and producing leaders for the future in their communities. And the opportunity to raise money for that mission is the reason I'm here.
18.
Right in the middle of it all, 11-year-old Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf invited to join McCormick's team, and he was holding his own. Shortly after this shot, William McCormick made a nice one of his own.
Boom! Got it on tape. Got it on tape. Got it on tape. Got it on tape.
Yeah, baby.
Way to show us the way, Carter. Good job, Carter.
What made this golf classic so special was the camaraderie in this friendly competition that was sprinkled with a healthy amount of trash talking.
You have to tee back there.
Y'all
down the middle. You got to tee up back there. Hey,
keep them straight.
He teeing up back there.
No, you're not.
Yes, he is.
You know they cheating already, right? You know they cheating already. Camera. It's on camera. Cheating already. He gonna take it to 7 holes. 7 holes to get the ball in the fairway. We ain't worry about him.
Sponsors and vendors set up at each hole, raising the stakes of the game. The Black College Sports Network was broadcasting the event live on behalf of HBCU League Pass Plus, who was a title sponsor for this event. William McCormick setting the example by stepping up to the microphone, then calling on 11-year-old Carter Bonus to do the same.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the young man that has his own apparel line.
Yes.
For golf. Is that your logo, young man?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what you did there.
Well, I was writing Spectrum Golf. I was writing the SG, but I wrote the G back home because I'm dyslexic. And my mom said to change it, but my dad said it was good. And it did, right?
It does.
Darius Gillis, who attends and plays golf for Miles College in Alabama, was a recipient last year of the South Florida HBCU Golf Tournament. With the help of Dialed In Golf Solutions, he secured the longest drive.
Our longest drive winner, Darius Gillis, 298 yards into the wind, club speed 113 miles per hour.
But the real accolades came during the award ceremony. Sponsors came forward sharing their donations for the students, but for Carter Bonus of Spectrum Golf, one of them topped them all.
Mr. President, you want to come forward? So, this young man is very special. I mean, he touched my life in a way that he don't even know. He hit the ball as good as any kid I've ever seen, and better than having you guys hit the ball. I see you play too. Mr. President, you want to?
Let's show some love for Carter, please. So I asked Carter about my score and told him what I shot. He looked at me like, you need help. But it is truly, the chairman contacted me last week about this young man, shared with me many of his marketing pieces, and I was so inspired by what I saw, and wanted to also serve as a source of inspiration for people who many a times are put in situations where, again, they are forced to want to give up on life, but instead this young man turned this into something very positive and began to soar, to become an entrepreneur. So let's show some love for Carter, please. At Florida Memorial University, I have the honor and the privilege of serving as the president. Since 2018, I was invited to come and to assume that role. I come with 25 plus years of higher ed experience, and I shared with the board back in 2018 about how we were going to grow the vision, to grow our university, and sports is one of those venues by which we would do that. And I told them then that eventually I want to start a golf program at our university. We're not there yet. However, I wanted to serve as a source of inspiration for Carter, just as he's a source of inspiration for so many of us. And to say, Carter, we don't have a golf program just yet, but you know what? When we do, within the next few years, we want to give you a scholarship to come and be a part of Florida Memorial University.
I just want to say thank you for the support. I really appreciate it.
Again, this is what we're going to do. Every year, we're going to touch the lives of these young people. This is what this whole trip is about, this golf tournament about. I'm happy to be part of this life now. And Carter, you let me know if no hat. I want every hat out there sold before we go home. Okay? I'm asking you to do it as a chairman request. Okay, so Carter, go get those hats sold for you, okay?
Yeah, if you want to buy a hat, just raise your hand.
Dozens of people are already signing up for next year's event. For details on sponsorships or pre-registration, go to birdease.com/HBCU golf.
So this is Spectrum Golf. I just got these from Spectrum Golf. Thank you very much, Carter. So obviously you have nice pants and the material is really, really good. They look good on me, don't they? And then we got hats, Spectrum Golf. Nice red, black, white. And then we've got a couple shirts out here with Spectrum Golf. Looks pretty good. Thank you very much.
And joining me now is the LPGA's Anita Uwadia. Anita, thank you so much for joining me.
Hello, thank you so much, Jacqueline, for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I know we've kind of caught you in the middle of your tour, the Epson tour, and so I was glad we could catch up with you so you could join this special and talk about, what that conversation was like between you and Carter when you were at the Great Lakes Bay Invitational and he approached you about sponsoring your apparel.
To be honest, it was an honor because, it's my first sponsor. So, of course, it was really nice to have someone, see me and say, hey, can you please wear my my outfit or my clothing line? So for me, I was very pleased. I was excited because it was just my first one. And then also, I remember I met Dr. Tenney and I met Carter on the tee box. I mean, he's a really quiet kid. And so I said hi to him. And then she told me the story of how Carter started, how Spectrum Golf started. And I was really inspired, to be honest. So it was kind of a no-brainer deal because, I was inspired by what he's doing across the board with youths and, giving free golf and spreading awareness. And so I was like, yeah, sure, sign me up. And it was just really great. I talk to them quite often. And so Dr. Tenney is just an amazing woman. So I'm really happy. I'm really glad to be an ambassador for Spectrum Golf.
Yeah, I have to admit, I get to cover, their stories and put those stories out. I was ecstatic. I was like, yes! I was so happy for you both because I just like that, you both are kind of newcomers into your fields, and it's kind of exciting to watch you support one another. Mm-hmm. And, to give you that boost as well to go, hey, I've got a uniform. I'm wearing it, and I just.
First ever. And then also in college, I took entrepreneurship, right? And so obviously I know what it's like to start a business. Well, I've learned. I've never started my own business, so I don't really know what it's like. But I've learned what it takes to start a business. And so for someone that age, I was very inspired. I was in awe of him because, I think about starting a business like 24/7, but I always think, how will I start and all that stuff. And for him to actually take the first step and start, it's just inspiring.
It really is baby steps. I can certainly tell you, and you
Mhm.
guys can talk about that, and you can talk about golf. And so I was excited for both of you because he can learn from you.
Mhm.
You know, you're a pro golfer, and he's trying to be or would love to be. You know, that's where his goal is. I
Yeah.
mean, you've talked to Carter. You know, he loves to play.
No, yeah, he's a good kid. He's very enthusiastic about golf, and everything he's doing for golf. You know, at such a young age.
It is mind-boggling. I agree with
Mhm.
you. So talk to us a little bit about now you've worn it now a few, a little bit, if you've had it on for a few weeks. So can you tell us a little bit about what the apparel's like to wear?
It is very comfortable. I would say I'm wearing it right now, and it's so funny. Before, when I first talked to her about it, I was talking to her about the pants because a lot of women's pants they're not fitted. I mean, I think they're moving towards the fitted style, and so I was like, I was a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie, about wearing it because I'm very particular about my clothes. I want it to be fitted on me. I want it to fit right. And so I was talking to her about it. I never saw the clothes before, and so when she sent it to me, I was very surprised. I mean, she already told me it was fitted. It's elastic. It's, the material is really good, breathable. And so I even gave a couple to my friends. And, I was just talking to with one of my friends just yesterday. And she was like, oh, wow, I love how it stretches, how breathable it is, and how it just fits. Because women's golf, I mean, now again, we're moving towards that, that area. But for the longest time, it was just hard to find something that fits because everything was just, catered towards men. And so, I love how it feels, and I mean, you can see it right here. It looks pretty good. I love his logo, but the pants especially. I just love
I was
them.
I have to tell you, the pants because I always go to the pants because
Mhm.
when I first I was at Dr. Tenney's house and she was like, um, you have to try the pants on. I'm like, I don't want to try the pants on. I just was like, I was going somewhere and I was trying to rush to go somewhere. And then I put them on and I was like, oh my gosh.
I
She goes,
know.
she goes, I see. She goes, you can wear these every day. I just wanted you to see. You don't have to play golf in them. I'm like, I wouldn't, I could wear these anywhere. But
Yeah,
they were, I don't know what they're made out of, but whatever it is, it doesn't feel like your normal
golf pants.
elastic. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know what it
it's
is.
no, I love it. And also a lot of times when you find like elastic pants or pants that fit, the pockets are always so weird. I mean, I don't know what it is about when they make women's pants, but like normally you want to have like pants or the pockets to be diagonal, but a lot of times you find fitted pants is either they don't have pockets, or they're horizontal, but these ones are they're just normal golf pants that just feel and they just feel good and look good.
And I tell you the truth. Oh, actually, speaking of looking good, I'm sitting here talking to you, not even thinking. But yeah, I mean, you're wearing it right there, and you look. This looks like it was made for you. The cap. I wish, I mean, you have that confidence. You're in the middle of the Epson tour right now, as you can see. And these are Dr. Tenney's, post on Instagram, or Carter's post on Instagram, and they're like, you're rocking it, and I love that. Your swing, nothing is binding you. I mean, you look natural. It's just, to me, it was a good fit
Mhm.
overall, not
Mhm.
just the apparel but the two of you.
Mhm.
And but I wanted to also give people an idea of who you are,
Mhm.
in this interview. Who is Anita Uwadia? Tell us about where you came from and playing golf in Nigeria.
Well, I'm from Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria. Grew up there. How I started golf, to be fair, we don't really have a lot of golf courses in Nigeria. Golf is not the major sport in Nigeria is soccer, and so golf is, it's still your stereotypical, oh, like you must be rich kind of sport. Which, I mean, it's changing now, but people don't really see golf as a sport. It's just something that you just go and you drink, with your buddies and you whack a couple balls around. But how I started, my dad is an avid golfer. And so he got my little brother into it. And I used to hang out with my brother quite a bit. And so after school, my dad would take my brother to the golf course. And I didn't want to be just like my sisters, go home. I wanted to go somewhere after school. So I would
Right.
always go there and I would use his golf, I would use my brother's golf clubs. And so my dad saw that I really liked the sport, and so he got me my own golf clubs. But also the golf course I started on, it was the greens, they're called browns. They weren't actual greens. So they were like bunkers, but like very elevated bunkers, like they're flat and it's just sand basically. And so when you have to putt, someone would have like a rake and then rake from your ball to the cup. They would rake your line to make sure it's smooth, and then you would putt. So I didn't even know that golf was played on greens.
Well, it's funny because you'd be really good in the sand pit then if
That's where my feel comes from. I'm like, oh, easy. I used to play on these. But and the golf courses are, I mean, they're not as nice as, a typical American course. So obviously coming here was kind of, it was just mind blowing just to see the golf courses, because they're just completely different from what we play in Nigeria. Now it's changing. We are having, there's a golf course, Lakowe, that just came out. They're making it world class. The golf course I started practicing at, they're trying to change it. So I know things are changing in Nigeria, but at a very slow pace.
But so tell me, so when you go back, have you been back to Nigeria as a pro golfer yet?
No. No, I haven't been. I just turned pro about 2.5 years ago, and since then I haven't been home. I always go to England because I have a dual citizenship, so I always go to England during the winter. It's just my family, because it's so hot in Nigeria. So my mom wants to escape the heat, so we all go to England. All my family members, we all just gather in England. But I'm excited to go back just to see how I play, just to see how I measure up to the courses. It's different. It's like not even playing golf when you're in Nigeria. I don't know what we play, but it's just, I mean, it's
like golf, but it was enough to teach you how to play to make it to the pros. And so, that's pretty exciting. So I look forward to not only learning, more about you, Anita, but, watching you and Carter grow together through this partnership. And I'm just glad you were able to be a part of this special. And I'll hopefully, because right at the end of the time that he saw you, he played that week. At the end of that week, I don't know, he played at the South Florida HBCU Golf Classic. And they awarded him a full scholarship to Florida Memorial University.
I saw that actually. I think I saw that on what they call it.
So my mind is like, we need you to go play next year, just to join them if you're available. It was beautiful. It's a great time, but what fun that would be if you're around. I'm just planting the seed, It was in Naples, Florida, in July. And it'll be that time next year. So I'm just planting that seed. You'll probably be playing somewhere else, but if you're not,
see, you never know.
If you were playing at the LPGA, I mean, you were playing at the Great Lakes Bay Invitational that same weekend. So you might already be playing somewhere, but still, that's what I know. I was thinking, I was like, man, it would be great to have Anita here and Carter here. That'd be awesome. Because they could use a few more ladies out there. Yeah, it was fun though. I mean, it was a blast, I have to admit. But awesome. So I'm already, plugging away and like, where am I going to get Anita in there, So it's a pleasure meeting you, and thanks for sharing a little bit more about you. And as we go forward, I know we'll meet more. And
and I'm excited. I'm glad. At some point, I'm sure we'll figure out our schedules out. Nearing to the end of the season is coming, and so space. I'll have a lot of time.
Daytona.
Exactly. We're seeing Daytona too.
Because the Epson Tour goes to Daytona, Florida. Yeah. And so, be prepared to go and go up there and watch Anita play in person at the Epson Tour. That just popped in my head. Don't forget to mention that, because we could drive to see you. That's not too far. That's for sure.
I'm excited. I'm very proud of Carter, and I'm just excited to put my name along his name. I mean, it's amazing.
Fun to watch. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much, Anita.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. I appreciate it.
I want to thank you so much for being a part of this special edition of Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez, covering Carter's journey from the PGA show and beyond. I have one more story for you highlighting what the Healing Arts Institute of South Florida is all about. But first, I want to talk to you a little bit more about what the Unmasked Gala is all about. We've mentioned that it benefits the Healing Arts Institute of South Florida, which offers no cost mental health services primarily to youth 22 and younger and to their families. Free mental health services. The Unmasked Gala will be held August 27th from 3:30 to 8 p.m. at the Conrad Hilton in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, it's a beautiful hotel. You should just make it, a daycation, stay the night, have fun, go to the beach the next morning, make a day out of it, make it fun. And then they also have a children's gala in a ballroom of their own. So you can bring the kids. They're going to have dress up, music, art, play, all kinds of fun things that they have designed for the kids at the Healing Arts Institute. But also, you're going to hear from the queen of Reframe, Miss Carol Boston. Carol Boston of Carol Boston Coaching. She's going to share about her own experience with mental health services, as well as how she was able to overcome it and become one of the top 10 female business coaches in the country. So this is going to be an extravagant event and you're going to learn things, but you're going to have fun. We're going to have food. But I wanted you to understand a little bit more about what the Healing Arts Institute is about and understand how I first met Dr. Tenney and Carter.
As the pressures of this life are reaching a boiling point, the reality of dealing with our mental health wellness is becoming more and more evident in every aspect of our lives. Now, Dr. Thelma Tenney, a licensed marriage and family therapist and founder of the nonprofit Healing Arts Institute, is making sure people who need help coping get it, whether they are insured or not.
If you don't have healthy boundaries, that's when your mental health is going to deteriorate because you're trying to be any and all to everything and everybody.
Dr. Tenney knows this firsthand. She began the nonprofit after her son Carter was diagnosed with Asperger's and felt a need for mental health services herself.
The anxiety, the stress, the depression, the guilt of feeling like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done different? Not really having a support system designed for me. What would you like to tell the kids who maybe have a diagnosis like you have, maybe autism or ADHD or something? What do you want to tell them?
That it's okay to feel different, and when you're upset, really upset, just talk to someone you trust.
It's a big difference to walk into an office and someone can identify with you that looks like you, that talks like you, that has the same background, the same aspirations, the same upbringing. So it really makes a difference, and not having that was my motivation to provide that for other moms.
What the mission for Healing Arts is to end stigma around mental health in marginalized communities. And when you grow up around it, people don't realize that they're growing up in trauma because you're around it. But it forms who you are in some way. It makes you have an edge to you, or it makes you afraid of something. And Healing Arts is trying to say, no, it's okay to ask for help.
Sometimes it's like maternity. You don't know that you have to elect for maternity care until you're pregnant, and you can't use it. So that's where the underinsured come in. They have health insurance, but it doesn't have mental health component to it. And then there's just those who don't have insurance at all.
Dr. Tenney's team is armed with extensive credentials, interactive techniques, and original handbooks. As a licensed sexologist, she also specializes in generational trauma and couples therapy. She has also authored a comprehensive workbook with her former professor and now colleague.
My experience and my other colleagues' experiences around things that are happening or relationship problems during the pandemic, people are realizing that they have things that they just cannot work out without a professional. And so I would say she probably get everything from stuff that's happening in the bedroom to stuff that's happening in the boardroom. This is our book, and it is basically a plan for people who are already married and didn't ask some questions they should have asked beforehand, or people who are planning to get married. And it's like a business plan, just like a mission statement, the whole bit, goals, everything that goes with that, budgeting, everything that would be a part of a relationship once a person got married.
Dr. Tenney believes in the benefits of mental health services so much that she and her staff take their own advice, holding group therapy for the therapist.
So one of the things that I loved is that we actually drew a picture, and then we actually kind of analyzed each other. And it really was like a healing of just being able to share. So we already know 10% or 50% of really why we feel better is because we actually feel heard by whenever we're talking. And so could you imagine when a group of clinicians are helping each other? It just felt like there was no judgment.
It's different when you are with people who know what they're doing rather than having someone who got a 5-minute introduction of this is how the meeting's supposed to go and this is what you're supposed to talk about. You need people who are trained, number one. You can't just have someone from HR do it.
Healing Arts Institute is not only looking to serve clients in-house or online, but on location.
What Healing Arts has to offer, well above and beyond so many others, is our willingness and our ability to go into schools and work with the officials, work with the kids. In a natural and symbiotic relationship. We want to be able to bring what we have to offer out of the office and, into the environments where these kids are and these people are who actually need that help.
And if you're questioning the benefits of mental health services, Carter's confidence has led him to create his own line of golf apparel and often plays in golf tournaments. You can learn more about the Healing Arts Institute at healingartssfl.org.